Today we are going to discuss in detail about cerebellum. Cerebellum discuss જ્યારે ડિટેલમાં કરવાના હોઈએ ત્યારે એની introductions, locations. Also we are going to discuss in detail about its relations, about its external features, parts of cerebellum, morphological divisions, functional divisions, connections of cerebellum, gray matter of cerebellum, very important, that is the functions of cerebellum, and lastly we will discuss about applied anatomy of cerebellum. Okay, so first thing, whenever we are going to discuss about cerebellum, we have to keep in mind that very important functions of cerebellum. There are three very important functions of cerebellum that we have to always remember. Okay, first is the tone, second is the posture equilibrium, and third one is the movements of body. Okay, cerebellum ના આ ત્રણ બહુ જ ઇમ્પોર્ટન્ટ ફંક્શન્સ છે, ટોન, પોસ્ચર ઇક્વિલિબ્રિયમ and it coordinates the movements of body. Okay, તો જ્યારે પણ સેરેબેલમ ડિસ્કસ કરતા હોઈએ ત્યારે ઓલવેઝ આપણે આ ત્રણ ફંક્શન્સ એના યાદ રાખવા પડે. ઓકે, ફંક્શન્સ ઓફ સેરેબેલમ that are tone, posture equilibrium and it coordinates the movements of body. Okay, we already know the cerebellum, that is the little brain. Okay, though it is little brain but it subserves the very important functions. Okay, it subserves the very important functions in our body. The cerebellum is known as the little brain. Cerebellum is the homotypical in structure. Okay, the structure of cerebellum is uniform throughout, so it is known as the homotypical. Okay, where it is located, cerebellum is located into the posterior cranial fossa. It is located into the posterior cranial fossa behind the pons and medulla oblongata. Okay, behind the pons and medulla oblongata and fourth ventricle. This is the fourth ventricle. Okay, so we can say that the cerebellum is situated into the posterior cranial fossa behind the pons, medulla oblongata and the fourth ventricle. Okay, so this is about the location of cerebellum. The gray matter of the cerebellum is highly folded. You can see here the gray matter of cerebellum is highly folded. Why? Because it accommodates the millions of neurons. Okay, it accommodates the millions of neurons for the very important functions in our body. Okay, this structure, this type of structure is known as the arbor vitae. Arbor vitae, that means the vital tree of life. Okay, arbor vitae, the gray matter of the cerebellum is highly folded. Okay, for accommodations of the millions of neurons, and this type of structure is known as the arbor vitae, that means vital tree of life. Okay, so this is all about the basic introductions of the cerebellum. Okay, so first thing, જ્યારે પણ આપણે cerebellum discuss કરતા હોઈએ, we have to remember always the three basic important functions of the cerebellum, that is about the tone, posture equilibrium and movements of the body. Okay, then the structure of the cerebellum is homotypical, that means it is throughout uniform. Okay, એકદમ સરખું હશે cerebellum જે સ્ટ્રક્ચર છે એ દરેક જગ્યાએથી કેવું હશે, સરખું હશે, so it is known as the homotypical. Okay, then arbor vitae, that means the gray matter of the cerebellum is highly folded to accommodate the millions of neurons. Okay, now where it is located, the locations of the cerebellum, it is located into the posterior cranial fossa behind the pons, medulla oblongata and fourth ventricle. Okay, so this is about the location of the cerebellum. Now another important thing that we have to remember, that is cerebellum is controls the same side of the body. Okay, we already know the cerebrum, the big brain, the cerebrum controls the opposite half of the body, while the cerebellum, that means the little brain, which controls the same side of the body. Okay, so make sure that you have to remember always, that is the cerebellum controls the same side of the body. Okay, so this is about the basic introductions of the cerebellum, about the locations of the cerebellum. Now next point, that is about the relations of cerebellum. Okay, so we can see here anterior to the cerebellum, we can see here medulla pons, medulla oblongata and fourth ventricle. Okay, relations we can see here anterior to the cerebellum there are pons, medulla and fourth ventricle. Superiorly we can see the tentorium cerebelli. Superiorly the structure is present, that is the tentorium cerebelli. Tentorium cerebelli is actually layer of the dura-mater. Okay, extended layer of the dura-mater. We already know about the two layers of the dura-mater, endosteal layer and meningeal layer. Okay, so tentorium cerebelli is the meningeal layer, extended meningeal layer of the dura-mater. So superiorly we can see the tentorium cerebelli. Posterior inferiorly, that means posteriorly and inferiorly we can see the squamous occipital bone. Okay, squamous occipital bone, that is the posterior inferiorly. Okay, so again relations of the cerebellum. Anteriorly we can see the pons, medulla oblongata and fourth ventricle. Superiorly we can see tentorium cerebelli and posterior inferiorly we can see the squamous occipital bone. Okay, so this is about the relations of the cerebellum. Now next point about the external features of the cerebellum. Now about the external features of the cerebellum. Okay, external features of the cerebellum. When we see the cerebellum posteriorly, we can see the two cerebellar hemispheres. Okay, two cerebellar hemispheres are connected with each other through a median vermis. Okay, so middle માં જે હશે સ્ટ્રક્ચર એ શું હશે? વર્મિસ. બે cerebellar hemisphere વર્મિસ થી કનેક્ટેડ થયેલા હશે. Okay, so two cerebellar hemisphere connected with median vermis. There are two surfaces of the cerebellum, superior surface and inferior surface. Superior surface is convex in nature. Superior surface કેવી હશે? Convex હશે. And two cerebellar hemisphere are continuous with each other on superior surface. Superior surface થી આપણે જોઈશું તો બંને જે cerebellar hemisphere હશે એ continuous લાગશે આપણને. Okay, and inferior surface જ્યારે નીચેથી આપણે cerebellum જોઈશું તો we can see the deep median notch. એક નોચ જોવા મળશે, એ નોચને શું કહીશું આપણે? વેલિક્યુલા. A deep median notch, the notch is known as the valicula. Okay, now this valicula, this notch separates the two cerebellar hemisphere on inferior surface. જ્યારે આપણે cerebellum ની ઉપરથી જોઈશું તો superior surface જે હશે convex હશે અને બંને cerebellar hemisphere continuous હશે. જ્યારે નીચેથી જોઈશું તો આપણને નોચ જેવું જોવા મળશે, એ નોચને કહીશું વેલિક્યુલા અને એ બંને હેમિસ્ફિયર ને શું કરશે? સેપરેટ કરશે on the inferior surface. So two surfaces, superior surface and inferior surface. Anteriorly we can see there is a pons and medulla oblongata and fourth ventricle. Okay, so anterior to the cerebellum there is another notch. Okay, another we can see the deep notch. Okay, આ જે deep notch હશે ત્યાં શું હશે? Fourth ventricle, pons and medulla oblongata. Posteriorly there is a fox cerebelli. Posteriorly જ્યારે આપણે જોઈશું તો શું હશે? fox cerebelli. ફોક્સ સેરેબેલી શું છે? તો જે બંને સેરેબેલમના જે બંને હેમિસ્ફિયર છે એને સેપરેટ કરશે. The layer that separating the two cerebellar hemisphere. Okay, so again external features માં કયા પોઈન્ટ્સ આપણે યાદ રાખવાના થશે? ફર્સ્ટ, જ્યારે આપણે સેરેબેલમ પોસ્ટિરિયરલી જોઈશું તો ત્યારે બે સેરેબેલર હેમિસ્ફિયર જોવા મળશે. ઓકે, બંને સેરેબેલર હેમિસ્ફિયર મિડલમાં કઈ રીતે કનેક્ટેડ થયેલા હશે? થ્રુ ધ વર્મિસ. Okay, now two surfaces, superior surface and inferior surface. Superior surface is convex and two cerebellar hemisphere are continuous on the superior surface. Inferior surface જે હશે ત્યાં નોચ પ્રેઝન્ટ હશે ડીપ. એ નોચને શું કહીશું આપણે? વેલિક્યુલા. અને એ જે છે એ બંને સેરેબેલર હેમિસ્ફિયરને સેપરેટ કરશે. ઓકે, એન્ટિરિયરલી પણ એક નોચ જોવા મળશે. ત્યાં શું હશે? ફોર્થ વેન્ટ્રિકલ, પોન્સ એન્ડ મેડ્યુલા ઓબ્લોંગાટા. પોસ્ટિરિયરલી જ્યારે આપણે જોઈશું તો ફોક્સ સેરેબેલી હશે. ફોક્સ સેરેબેલી જે છે એ સેપરેટ કરશે બંને સેરેબેલર હેમિસ્ફિયરને. ઓકે, so this is about the external features of the cerebellum. another thing that you have to remember about the lobes of the cerebellum. Okay, about the lobes of cerebellum. Okay, there are total 3 lobes: anterior lobe, middle lobe, or also we can say the posterior lobe, and flocculonodular lobe. Okay, so we know that the whole cerebellum is cut by many fissures, but we have to remember the horizontal fissures, fissura prima, and posterior lateral fissure. Okay, fissura prima, here is the fissura prima in between anterior lobe and posterior lobe. Then posterior lateral fissure in between posterior lobe and in between the flocculonodular lobe. Okay, anterior lobe, middle lobe એ જે છે એ એને જ આપણે કહીએ છીએ posterior lobe, અને જે સૌથી નાનો છે, the smallest one is known as the flocculonodular lobe, and the largest one is known as the posterior lobe. Okay, the lobes of the cerebellum માં શું લખવાનું થશે? anterior lobe, middle lobe or posterior lobe, and flocculonodular lobe. There are 3 fissures that you have to remember: fissura prima, which separates the anterior lobe from the posterior lobe; posterior lateral fissures, which separates the posterior lobe from the flocculonodular lobe; the largest lobe, that is the posterior lobe, and the smallest lobe, that is the flocculonodular lobe. Okay, so this is all about the lobes of the cerebellum. Okay, we know that the whole cerebellum is cut by many fissures. Okay, we know this is the part of the vermis, this is the part of the vermis, and this is the part of the cerebellar hemisphere. Okay, this each part of the cerebellar hemisphere and the part of the vermis is cut by many fissures. We can see each cut by many of the fissures. The name of the parts of the cerebellar hemisphere and the part of the vermis according to એલા જે છે તો એ part of the cerebellar hemisphere નો છે, અને જે vermis નો part છે that is the central lobule. Okay, quadrangular lobule, part of the vermis, that is the culmen. જે cerebellar hemisphere નો part છે that is the simple lobule, part of the vermis, that is the decline. Okay, superior semilunar lobule, inferior semilunar lobule, folium and tuber, biventral lobule, that is the pyramid, part of the vermis. Here the tonsil, that is the part of the cerebellar hemisphere, and this is the uvula. Okay, the part of the vermis, that is the nodule, and the cerebellar hemisphere, that is the flocculonodular lobe. આ જે flocculonodular lobe છે એ inferior surface માં present હશે. Okay, એને જ્યારે આપણે આ રીતે આમ આગળ લાગે તો આ રીતે આપણને દેખાશે. Okay, so this is about the parts of the cerebellar hemisphere and parts of the vermis. Now the morphological divisions of the cerebellum. Morphologically we can divide it 3 types, that is the archicerebellum, paliocerebellum, and neocerebellum. Okay, archicerebellum developed from the flocculonodular lobe, paliocerebellum developed the anterior lobe, neocerebellar developed from the middle or posterior lobe. Archicerebellum, that is the oldest, that is related with the equilibrium of the body. Paliocerebellum, that is related with the tone of the body, and neocerebellum, that is related with the coordinations of the movements. Okay, so this is about the morphological divisions of the cerebellum. Then we can also divide it cerebellum according to zone wise. Okay, longitudinally we can divide it functional divisions of the cerebellum into the 3 types. This is known as the vermis, and here this is the intermediate zone, and this is the lateral zone. This is the vermal area or vermis. જે બંને વચ્ચેનો જે ઝોન છે that is the intermediate zone, અને આ જે છે cerebellar hemisphere નો એ શું છે? lateral zone. Okay, so suppose અહીંયા આપણે આ રીતે ઊભા હોઈએ suppose, તો આ જે related છે neck, then shoulder, trunk of the body and hips, એનું જે મેઇન છે મસલ્સ જે કંટ્રોલ્સ કરે છે that is related with the vermis. Okay, so vermis area જે છે એનું મેઇન ફંક્શન શું છે? તો it controls the muscles of the neck, shoulder, trunk and hips. Okay, then this is suppose our upper limbs, this is suppose our lower limbs. Then what is the function of the intermediate zone? તો જે intermediate zone છે એનું મેઇન શું ફંક્શન હશે? it controls the muscles of the fingers and hands, then legs and toes. Okay, then the lateral zone, it coordinates the movements of the brain, it perceiving the brain. Okay, so this is about the three main functions of the longitudinal zones of the cerebellum. Again, morphologically three છે, આર્કી, પેલિયો એન્ડ નિયો સેરેબેલમ. ત્રણેયમાંથી કયા ડેવલપ થાય છે એ યાદ રાખવાના છે, કયા લોબ સેરેબેલમના ડેવલપ થાય છે એ યાદ રાખવાના છે, અને એનું મેઇન ફંક્શન શું છે. દેન ઝોન વાઇઝ આપણે ત્રણમાં ડિવાઇડ કરી શકીએ છીએ. વર્મલ, દેટ ઇઝ વર્મિસ, ઇન્ટરમીડિયેટ ઝોન એન્ડ લેટરલ ઝોન. તો જે વર્મિસ છે એ મેઇન સેના રિલેટેડ કન્સર્ન્સ છે. દેન ઇટ રિલેટેડ વિથ ધ નેક, શોલ્ડર, ટ્રંક એન્ડ હિપ્સ. ઓકે, જે ઇન્ટરમીડિયેટ ઝોન છે દેટ ઇઝ રિલેટેડ વિથ ધ fingers and hands and legs and toes. Okay, and the lateral zones છે that is related about the perceiving the movements, perceiving the brain. Okay, so that is related with the brain. So this is about the divisions of the cerebellum. Next, connections of the cerebellum. Cerebellum connected with the brainstem. Okay, this is the brainstem, this is the midbrain, this is the pons, and this is the medulla oblongata. Okay, so midbrain, pons and medulla, this is the brainstem. So cerebellum connects with the brainstem. Cerebellum connects with the midbrain through the superior cerebellar peduncle. Cerebellum connects with the pons through the middle cerebellar peduncle. Cerebellum connects with the medulla through the inferior cerebellar peduncle. Okay, superior cerebellar peduncle, this is the middle cerebellar peduncle, and this is the through the inferior cerebellar peduncle. Okay, so connections of cerebellum. The cerebellum connects with the brainstem through the cerebellar peduncles. Okay, the cerebellum connects with the midbrain through the superior cerebellar peduncle. Cerebellum connects with the pons through the middle cerebellar peduncle, and cerebellum connects with the medulla through the inferior cerebellar peduncle. Okay, so this is about the connections of cerebellum. Next to that, about the gray matter of the cerebellum. Okay, so gray matter of the cerebellum, here the nucleus are present, that is the nucleus dentatus, nucleus fastigious, nucleus globosus and nucleus emboliformis, that you have to remember. Nucleus dentatus, fastigious, globosus and emboliformis, the gray matter which is present within the cerebellum. Okay, now about the functions of the cerebellum. Okay, we already know the three main basic functions of the cerebellum, that it relates with the tone, posture, equilibrium and movements of the body. Okay, it coordinates the movements of the body, it is related with the precise movement, it is related with the smooth movement. Okay, so the main functions of the cerebellum that we have to worth remembering, that is the equilibrium, tone and movements of the body. It is also related with the sensory informations. It carries the sensory informations from the auditory pathway and from the visual pathway. Okay, it is related, it is controls with the same side of the body, it is ipsilateral, so it controls the same side of the body. The cerebellum works as a comparator. Okay, it receives the informations from the brain and also it's from the cerebrum, and it receives also informations from the spinal cord. Okay, it regulates the movement, it modifies the movement, it controls the movement. So it is works as a comparator, we can say it works as a comparator. So this is about the functions of the cerebellum. Now what is the applied anatomy of the cerebellum? Applied anatomy of the cerebellum, first is the nystagmus. Okay, that means involuntary movements of the eye. Then ataxia, gait ataxia. Okay, thus we know that the cerebellum is related with the accurate movements of the body, but if there is a lesions into the anterior lobe, then what happen? It is related with the tone and posture. Okay, so there is a problem into the gait, so it is related with the gait ataxia. Then alcoholic gait. Okay, the persons cannot walk in a straight line, this is known as the alcoholic gait. Okay, then it is also related with the some cerebellar syndrome. Okay, in which there is a nystagmus, difficulty in the speech, difficulty in the walking. Okay, so these all are the applied anatomy of the cerebellum. Thank you.